Tonight, a CBS 12 investigation finds half of the postal delivery trucks in our area are past their prime.
CBS 12's Michael Butchner obtained records that show these trucks are both costly to maintain and unsafe on the road.
Like most of our investigations, this started with a tip from a viewer. In this case, a postal worker with concerns over the safety of the aging fleet of mail trucks. We had looked into it and found many are breaking down under constant repair and unsafe to drive. Across the country, postal trucks are making headlines for breaking down and catching on fire. The dramatic images tell the tale of an aging fleet of mail trucks. The trucks maneuver our streets with hundreds of thousands of miles on them. CBS 12 Investigates reviewed United States Postal Service records for our 5-county area and found half the fleet, 842 of them, are at least 20 years old. We found 153 of them 29 years old, well beyond their designed useful life and then some.
As an agency that is operating out of the government that is that much in debt is something that taxpayers need to be concerned about.
Michi El-Jazi is a watchdog with the nonpartisan Taxpayers Protection Alliance. He says the post office is wasting money repairing vehicles that are too old and too unsafe to be on the road. There are 214,000 vehicles nationwide, and keeping them running is quite costly. During fiscal year 2015, the post office spent $428 million just on parts alone. And a recent Postal Service Inspector General's report found much of that money was wasted, claiming the post office paid more for parts than necessary, a price gap that cost the post office more than $4.5 million. We asked the post office why they are driving old, unsafe vehicles. They turned us down for an on-camera interview and instead sent us a long statement describing their process of spending $37.4 million to produce 50 prototype vehicles to phase out those older trucks.
There's a real leadership deficit when it comes to making these tough decisions that are smart for the post office, but also smart financially.
The post office claims it receives no tax dollars for operating and instead relies on its own sales to fund its operations. But it didn't take a lot of digging to figure out that isn't exactly the case. They've been receiving federal subsidies to help stay afloat for the past decade. Michael Butchner, CBS 12 News.